Classic bit of bad luck strikes the team. Ralph Shaw was unable to avoid the Musler that has spun and stalled in the middle of the track. The entire front of the Mercedes is smashed and needs to be replaced.
I was the driver on this accident. I drive behind the car, Mosler, the number 2, on the corner to start and seal. And they have a problem and cross the track, and I come and touch it in the middle. It was a middle accident. We can repair it, and in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, we can drive. We want to finish the race, but a bad result. The race is out, but we want it to finish.
Number 99, Hermes Attempto from Germany, was in 9th place until they had exhaust problems and caught fire. Jürgen Hering heads into the pits and the safety crew extinguish the flames. It's back into the garage to see if it's repairable.
Just before the pit, I heard that there is a strange noise on the back. I thought it could be the exhaust because it's a problem of the R. When I stopped, I thought I am on fire. I don't know if they have a exhaust with them. I think so. I don't think that it's too much. It's not burning long, so I hope we will fix it and we can drive again. The car was perfect, and it was really nice drive. I overtook many of my colleagues also in the R. It was fantastic. The car was really great.
As we lose light, the glowing orange sun sets into the horizon and the teams get ready to settle into the night. It's just 4 hours into the race and there's going to be 12 hours of darkness. The track will cool and the lap times will drop. No matter how many lights the teams put on, visibility will be reduced and will require more concentration. Team 99 have a spare exhaust and work quickly to replace it, losing little time as possible. Just to add insult to injury, the light is gone, adding a bit of adversity to the repair. The mechanics have done a great job, and in just over an hour, the team is back on the track. At this time of night, the drivers start to adapt to the changing conditions and try to maintain some consistency in lap times. The number 9 Mercedes SLS of Heiko Motorsport are having to battle hard to regain ground after a fuel pickup problem. Currently in 16th, they have some work to do.
Well, it's 6 hours into the race, so we've got 1/4 of the race behind us. And what we see now is that there were several teams at the start with a possibility of a win. Around about 8 or 9 teams, I guess. Out of those teams, there are already about 3 or 4 that hit trouble. There was one Porsche on fire, but they fixed it. Took them an hour, so they're not in for a win. That was the Hermes Attempto racing Porsche. One of the Mercedes, beautiful SLS going Mercedes has dropped back. Another one has dropped back a bit. That's the car with 5 times DTM champion Bernd Schneider. But they lost only 7 minutes, so they could still make it. One of the BMW Z4, Liqui Moly team, they dropped back considerably. But the other 2 Z4s of the Schubert team are still there, plus 3 or 4 Porsches. One of them is the Telimet Arabia team, local team, and that will be interesting to see them win. Some of the other classes, diesel class is led by Volkswagen of Austria, and they're 6 seconds a lap quicker than any of the other diesel cars. So it's easy for them. The guys at the front, the really quick guys, they have the biggest battle at hand. Nighttime is one of the nicest times because you sort of cool down into a slightly slower mode. But the atmosphere is always a bit more friendly, it seems. There's a sense of, hey, we're here, and we're here for another 15 or 16 hours. So yeah, it's nice. Evening has got something extra.
After the first 6 hours, you can see the top 10 is heavily populated by Porsches, with the 2 Schubert BMWs in 3rd and 4th, the top Mercedes in 5th, and the AF Corse Ferrari sneaking in 9th. 7 hours into the race and Need for Speed Schubert 1 regained the lead from Italian Porsche De Lorenzi Racing. The BMW Z4 GT3 is settling into this 24-hour race well with very few complications. BMW have great experience with this race, winning it in 2006 and 2007. However, Porsche have won the last 3 years, so the expectations are high. At this stage, not many of them are having trouble posting good lap times. In the Specialist SP2 class, Bovie Motorsport number 23 increased their lead. That keeps them about 15th to 20th overall, their closest rival sitting around 6 laps behind. SP3 class is hotly contested with number 123, the Valspar Donkerfort, in the lead by only 1 minute from the 17 Aston Martin. At the stroke of midnight, the traditional firework display is on. The teams have done 10 hours and are almost halfway through the race. AF course SRL Ferrari F430 number 4 seems to be slowly climbing up the rankings hour by hour. They have a bit of an advantage in the 120-liter fuel tank. They don't have to push so hard and need to make less stops. After 9 hours, they've climbed up to 4th. Their teammates number 6 have had some technicals and are off the pace.
Well, after 12 hours, we're halfway the race, and it's difficult. Many of the leaders of the cars that have led the race have run into trouble. This car, for instance, was leading earlier on, and just briefly for 1 hour they led, and then they ran into trouble. They were hit by a slower car. They couldn't control the car anymore, hit the barriers, and had a big crash. That happens, or similar problems have happened to other cars, not just crashes, but also mechanical trouble. So only 3 of the, let's say, top 8 quickest cars have not ran into trouble, and they're running at the front of the race. Leader at this moment is the Need for Speed number 1, the Schubert car.
At the halfway point, Fock Autotech 12 have jumped to 2nd, almost 7 minutes behind the leaders. Schubert 2 were hit from behind and have dropped to 8th. In the special class, SP2 Bovie Motorsport are dominating by 6 laps at 14th overall. There's a close battle at the top of the SP3 class with the Donkerfort just ahead of the HMR Aston Martin. The Porsche 997 class goes to number 38 from Germany. The A3T class sees a consistent lead from JR Motorsport and the BMW, with Sunred just less than 2 laps behind. K&K Racing Valak Motorsport over 5 laps ahead of Duo in the A4 class, and the smallish engine category A2, the Autosport GP2 Renault Clio Cup is leading with the Best of Class Mini Cooper hot on their heels. The diesel category D1 comfortably led by VW Austria 1, with the Golf TDI leading the Jordan.NL Red Camel by over 10 laps. As the race unfolds into the night, the atmosphere changes. Drivers settle into their own rhythm and the mechanics rest when they can. This is where the race can be won and lost. Porsche are still in the race with the 2 Fock teams, number 12 and 14, both in GT3Rs in 2nd and 7th respectively. The local Saudi Falcons have made their way up to 4th and are looking strong. 2 Limit Arabia, number 18, another local team, are making their way back from 16th after they had earlier problems.
Well, winning is our main goal, so, but it's hard, you can't anticipate what's going to happen, if someone's going to have a crash or someone hits you. We had, unfortunately, on the first corner a couple of laps ago, someone touched us from the back, so we spun, and we lost a couple of places, but we're pushing there and fighting for it again. It was tough, but it was fun, a lot of overtaking. outside, inside, wherever, you name it. We're just overtaking, which is good. You know, they roll up. I know they want to sleep. I hope we'll take the cups and we'll go sleeping.
Last year's class winners for the D1 category, the Dutch Marcos Racing, are sitting at 72 and 75 overall with their two BMW 120 diesels. Number 135 has experienced some problems but is now back on the track. Number 130 VW Racing Austria 1 are convincing class leaders in the white 2-liter Golf TDI.
We have a good team and the tires working very well on the car, and this is the recipe from the day.
Starting at the back of the grid, we have A to B Racing, number 133, a UAE English team. This is their local track, and they're pushing their hardest to give the other diesels a run for their money.
We're running a BMW 120 diesel. It's in the lowest category. As it happens, the car we're running is also the slowest car in that category. So we started on the grid and earned 83rd place out of 84 cars. But we seem to have done pretty well, actually. We've climbed up to 55 at one point. We're on target for a podium position, and I think that's pretty good going. But I think the key is reliability and metronomic consistency. So time will tell.
The rules state that the teams must change drivers at least every 2 hours, with most of the top teams opting for a pit stop every 60 to 90 minutes. The fastest teams are changing tires every pit stop. That's about every hour, while the other teams run smoothly 2 to 4 hours on their slicks. Dunlop have an expert tire fitting team set up behind the pit boxes to facilitate this massive undertaking. Specialist staff from around the world work through the night to remove worn tires, fit and balance new ones. To keep it a level playing field, all the teams must use the same type, with only the option of hard or soft, and if it rains, one type of wet weather tire. Dunlop UK ship over 4,000 tires for the weekend and don't expect to go home with many. The teams bring the worn tires into the fitting bay, and within 10 minutes they leave with a new set on their rims. The all-female Springboks team are running in 57th overall and top 10 in their class in the Renault Clio Cup. They stop in for a driver change. I've just got back from a session. It was quite complicated because there was a lot of rubber gum, and that caused a lot of problems for the tire changes. So I had to head back after just a half an hour of rallying. Right now it's my teammate who's out there going for it, but we're going to see whether she experiences the same problems. I do a lot of rally racing, but in fact my specialty is Paris-Dakar style racing in places like Morocco and Tunisia. I've also done quite a bit of circuit racing, but it's not my specialty, but still very enjoyable. As the graveyard shift sets in, it divides the boys from the men. Still in the lead from the 7th hour of the unfaltering Need for Speed Schubert 1 in the BMW. Just out of the car, Augusto Farfus is brimming with experience, having won the Nuremberg 24-hour less than 8 months ago.
Yeah, it was okay. We are trying to save the car. We are trying to keep everything together. It's still a very long race, so it doesn't mean a lot to lead the race at this stage. Of course, it's good to keep the leadership, but to have to keep focus, low profile, save the car, and try to bring it down. Yeah, it's cool. There is a lot of